My strong view is that stress in life does not come from workload. It does not come on having a big goal that you have to achieve, a big number. Stress comes from not feeling in control.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm delighted to have Tony Hughes with me again. G'day, Tony. How you doing?
Hi, John. I'm well.
That's good. Hey, Tony, how do you go about helping sales leaders drive quality and coach better and get more productivity in their sales teams that are out selling remotely or selling out of their own home?
The first thing that I think people need to think about is the issue of mindset and motivation. For some people that are more analytic personalities, they're comfortable with their own company. Maybe it's a little easier for them, but for many personalities, they just love the interaction with others and they get inspired and motivated and thrive on that. And they're not in office environments anymore. So for many people, it's much harder for them to maintain the level of motivation. And when they're selling into tough markets, it's harder to have the right mindset. They can tend to think, look, people aren't buying at the moment. There's lots of stresses that they're dealing with. I don't want to be pushy. But the truth is we all need to up our game right now. All sales will live and die on the strength of the business case. And the job of the seller has always been, it's just a little tougher now. We've got to find a way to break through. So mindset.
So how does this, so I'm sorry to cut in there, Tony, but how does a sales leader drive that motivation when their salespeople are sitting at home? They can't touch them, they can't sit with them, they can't go and have a cup of coffee with them. I mean, it's a real challenge, isn't it? How do you go about help motivate the people sitting at home trying to work?
So the first thing is really focus on having empathy for the situation of the seller and investing in enabling them properly. Help them get the right kind of home office environment if they're working remotely. Make sure they've got decent lighting, a decent laptop with a decent camera, a decent microphone. Coach them around, getting their laptop to eye height. Maybe invest in helping them buy a stand-up desk, that they can use at home if there's space for it, or a simple thing like a music stand that you can set horizontally to put your laptop on that, which is what I'm doing right now.
So are you standing right now, Tony?
Yes, I'm standing and I've got a music stand, but even at my desk, so behind the camera, on the other side of you where I'm looking is my desk where I sit, and I even bought an elevated stand that goes on my desk that just gets my laptop up high enough so that the camera is the same height as we're experiencing now, so that I'm not looking down at somebody, because that doesn't create the right emotion, and people don't want to be looking at my double chin and up my nostrils and ceiling. Just investing in simple things like that to help equip people.
I mean, we're talking about some of the hows and not necessarily motivation right now, but one of the hows is what I know you and I are both doing now, looking at the camera.
Yeah.
And too often we're looking at our screen rather than the camera. If we want to engage with people, we should be looking at them in the eye, or have them feel that we are, and we'll engage much more effectively, right? So motivation, keep going on that.
So motivation and enablement, but people will be motivated if they believe you care about them and their success. You're investing in them, investing in training, but make sure the person is setting goals. Make sure that they're time blocking the activities in the day, like help them have the discipline in their day to do what they need to do to be successful. My strong view is that stress in life does not come from workload. It does not come on having a big goal that you have to achieve, a big number. Stress comes from not feeling in control. And if people are working from home and just feel they're not in control of their day and whether they're doing what it takes to be successful, they'll become stressed. So make sure that they're time blocking segments of the day to drive outbound for quality pipeline. So every day sellers need to spend time building pipeline and spend time progressing opportunities. They need to make sure they have breaks between all of the endless online meetings that they're doing so they can get their head in the game. But what you should be doing as the leader is this. If you get your people to time block, let's say they time block 4 sessions a week for 90 minutes, which you get them to break up as 25-minute sessions with a little bit of a break in between each to go get a coffee or a cup of tea in their own kitchen. But after they do their 90 minutes, if that's what it is, you book a 15-minute debrief session with them. And you don't want to come across like it's Big Brother checking whether they actually did outbound. You position it as a debrief and coaching session. So how did it go? What worked? Is there anything you're doing that's working well? We can help you share with the rest of the team to coach them. But the truth is, what you're also doing is you're holding them to account for that activity. You want to make sure that they're capturing activity in your CRM. So, metrics management is very important. So you can see that people are actually working, not being just either distracted, paralyzed, or lazy. Really important.
Okay, and let's go back to the coaching bit, because that's, as you're probably aware, one of my bugbears, that most sales managers do not do enough time coaching their people. And coaching is where you get that real growth in sustainable business that your salespeople are driving. And too often we spend it in the CRM and looking at forecasts and upselling to our management and so on, and forget about our salespeople in the field. So you emphasize coaching, and that's part of motivating the salespeople too. If you're showing interest and you're coaching properly, it's not telling. And that's often what I see sales managers trying to tell salespeople what to do. It's helping the salespeople understand themselves and how they can be better by asking lots of questions. And a good coach asks questions much more than they ever tell.
Yeah, John, that's very true, because one of the things I think is so easy today is that sales managers can do more coaching calls than ever before. Before people were working remotely, often the sales leader would once a month would fly to another city, where their rep is. And they'd say to the rep, I want you to fill your calendar with meetings that day, and I'll go along with you. And when they fly in, those 5 meetings ended up becoming 1 or 2. And half of them were pretty ineffective because the rep found someone that would take a meeting when all of their others fell over. But was the truth now, the salesperson can book online meetings and include their manager. Their manager can be part of it, right? But they can be more passive observing. And then after that online sales call that was done, the manager can say, hey, tell me your thoughts about how you could have created more engagement in that call. We presented a lot of slides. How do you think you could have gone in and out of that slide deck more regularly and created more engagement? Tell me about some questions you think you could use to create engagement, when we're doing this. So it's a great opportunity for coaching. And I know for you, John, you've got a point of view that maybe people are getting too focused on the metrics piece and not the quality.
I find that a lot. It's the quality output, and certainly time management. I think your time blocking model and all that's really, really important. We need, as salespeople, we all need to be very good at time management, and we as sales leaders can help coach our people to use their time more effectively. But if we're using our time effectively and doing quality activity, then we need less activity for more output. And too often I see sales managers, particularly when they feel like they're not in control, they start honing in on the activity. More and more and more calls, rather than how can we make each call more effective, and going through more of a coaching model and getting that quality up.
Yeah, that's so true, John. And I know you're a big advocate for sellers asking the prospect, hey, would you mind if I just record this call so that I can go back and review it and just take some notes? I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, especially if it's more of a discovery, kind of call with prospect.
And this day and age,
yeah.
No, very, very seldom would anybody say, no, I don't want you to record it. Thank you.
Yeah, because we all know it's illegal to record calls without someone's permission. And I'm with you. I think that people will normally give you the okay, because it's your way of just, creating notes in the meeting afterwards and staying focused on them during the conversation. But that's a great way of recording, and then your boss or the manager, you can then ask to review those and provide some coaching. So that's really important. And just the third thing I'd share in this particular conversation, right? So mindset and motivation is important. Make sure that people are time blocking activity, that you're booking 15-minute debriefs, with them. Obviously have empathy, but try and hold them to account. Get them logging their activity. It's really important that you can see that they're doing the activity. And as you, John, said, we've got to make sure that we're also working on the coaching and the quality piece. But then the last thing I'd just say with all of this is now is the time to invest in enablement and training with your people. Make sure they've got the right equipment, and make sure you invest in some training with them, like really help them to become better sellers in what is a tougher environment for them to operate in.
And if you know how, it's just as effective to coach and train. Well, I really mean train, facilitate a training activity. Lots of online training activity available, but also you're able to facilitate training through the medium we're looking at now, or talking to each other via now. And with, I love Zoom, and we use Zoom rooms, and we can do all sorts of things. And I find it actually more productive in training people in Zoom now than I do in a classroom. And so we're all learning a lot as we go, but I agree. It's now is the time to enable your salespeople and to make sure that they are trained and effective in using the tools and the skills that are necessary in selling in this new normal.
Yeah, that's true, John. That's great advice.
Tony, thank you very much for your time. I think we've probably spoken a fair while on this particular video, longer than we normally do, but I think there's lots of gems in there. And I really appreciate your time and your expertise. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, John.